Hey folks, welcome back to Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick, and thanks for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for Whiskey Review number 17, a continuation on our Jack Daniel's mini-series. So today, you see two bottles, but the review is going to be on the single barrel. I basically just brought the Gentleman Jack back out here because, most importantly, to talk to you about color and the difference that we get in there. So as you can see, if the camera will pick it up, single barrel is noticeably darker in color than the Gentleman Jack. And that's primarily because what gives us the distinct flavor of single barrel Jack Daniels is the location of the barrels during maturation in the warehouse at Jack Daniels. So they put these barrels at the highest point in the warehouse, which can reach temperatures up to, I think it's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So what you have at that higher temperature, well, you're going to have more flux in temperature, different temperature changes, so more interaction between the wood, expanding, contracting, so that also brings the aging spirit with it and imparts more of the flavor. So Jack Daniel's, in my opinion, is a really great whiskey to kind of see how these American oak casks play a role in maturation, because you can definitely taste that influence. That's the primary taste influencer, if you will. So Jack Daniel's, you get a nice little decanter there, but what's also neat about it is that it gives you a lot of great information. So we've got the, it says hand-selected Tennessee whiskey, which is great. Bottled at 47% ABV. So, what's that, 94 proof. And so it's even got the Rick number on here, R22, barrel number 13-2038, if you're keeping track at home. And bottling date on here, which is April 10th of 2013. So that's kind of interesting, because we love having more information about what we're paying our good hard-earned money for. So Jack Daniel's does a great job with single barrel, and of course you're paying a little bit more, so it's only fair that we get a little bit more information about what it is. Now, I believe this single barrel first started out in the late 90s. Jack Daniel's started a program called By the Barrel, which you could go take a tour of the distillery, usually with the master taster there, sometimes with the master blender, which is now Jeff Arnett. And you would go through, take a tour, and you would taste whiskeys from 3 different barrels that were selected by the taster and master distiller, if he was there, and you would pick out which one you liked the best. Now that's if you could make it there to the distillery. They also have a thing where you can tell them what your sort of preferences, taste preferences are, and that sort of thing, and they'll pick one out for you. But if you want the full experience, I mean, it's like $10,000 or something, so you might as well make a trip if you're going to spend that kind of money. But, so you'll get, I think it's approximately 250 bottles, is what it turns out to, and then they send you the empty barrel, so you also get that, which is nice, and then 250 bottles of basically single barrel Jack Daniels. So that's just a little interesting note behind that. There's also some rumor going around that the United States SEAL teams have gone and purchased barrels, which is, interesting. They said they've done it before. We don't know which members. Some people are trying to say that SEAL Team 6, the ones who captured Osama bin Laden, are, they went to Jack Daniel's and bought a barrel, but who knows. All we know is that you're here because you're looking for whiskey reviews. So, let's pour a little bit there. And this, for me, I just love going back to this every now and then, usually for special occasions. I had some on New Year's Eve, just because I feel it's just a special whiskey. Like I said in the past, I'm a big fan of Jack Daniels, so the single barrel is really a great expression for getting the full experience, if you will. And to be honest with you, the whole line, if you were to go get Old Number 7, standard label, Gentleman Jack, single barrel, if you get those three, it's not going to cost you, an arm and a leg. You can really get a great kind of experience throughout the whole thing, and you can check back at the previous reviews and just see how it's evolved so far. Also, the cork is nice, just to put that out there. But so let's start with the color. Like I said, if we compare these two, you can see, at least I can definitely see, there's more of a amberish reddish tint to the single barrel, where this stays more of the deeper kind of honey tones. So, and that's because, like we said, it's aged higher up in the warehouses. Could also be a little bit longer. I'm not sure exactly how long this is matured, but that's up to chance how long that is. So let's go into the nose. Now, first thing that I get is sort of this, you can tell the age that's to it, and you can tell, you can distinctively tell single barrel from any other of Jack Daniel's products, because it has this really kind of predominant barrel influence, and by that I mean there's a heavy vanilla. You can smell it's like a toasted vanilla, the toasted wood certainly, the oak influence in there. There's also some caramel notes in there, a little hint of cinnamon, definitely some dried fruits in there, a little hint of spice, not overly so, just a touch. So let's go in for the taste. It's really kind of pleasant how long it takes, not how long really, but how just kind of there's a story behind it almost when you taste it. It really moves slowly from the tip of your tongue, these kind of like lighter, fruitier notes, still dried fruits, but sort of on the lighter end, and then it really evolves into kind of this vanilla, toasted almond notes, and then a little bit of the char. There's definitely some charcoal notes to it, but it really kind of takes this nice little evolution throughout the palate. The finish is sort of, well, the mouthfeel really, let's start with that, has sort of this oily texture to it. It's kind of like it just slowly rolls around in the palate, and then the finish is wonderful. It's long lasting. I still have hints of it. So overall, just lovely. Let's go in again. Yeah, it's just delicious. It's like, that's what I've said before with other Tennessee whiskey and American whiskey in general, because Jack Daniel's is really the only Tennessee whiskey we've reviewed so far. But it tastes like, a nice hot summer's eve, and you're sitting around the campfire. I know a lot of reviewers like to, they'll tell you exactly, what they taste. That's, like lemons or toasted oak or vanilla or caramel or toffee, stuff like that. Things that what that taste is. For the most part, people know what that taste is. But I sort of associate it with memories and experiences. So it's not always that easy to translate what that is. Because I'll be honest, I haven't been drinking whiskey for years and years and years. I'm relatively new to it, 4 or 5 years. So I'm, personally, even though I'm reviewing this, I'm still picking up notes. I'm still figuring out what different tastes and scents and sort of that kind of thing, better descriptors to describe what's going on. So I tend to lean towards experiences and that sort of thing. For some people it's relatable. Some people can associate, a night around the bonfire, what that smells like. Sometimes you're the guy, every time who sits down near a fire, the smoke just blows into his face. So some people can relate to that. And some may say that's not the most helpful for people who are looking at reviews, but for other people, I find that they are kind of impacted by these sensory experiences and certain memories they have in the past. So if it's helpful for you, great. I'm going to keep doing it because that's how kind of I go about it. If it's not helpful for you, stick with me a little longer. I am, getting more and more, blatant and solidified on what I'm talking about in terms of notes. But going back to single barrel, so there's definitely vanilla, definitely these dried fruits that I'm talking about. And certain those things are definitely tangible, but for the other side, like I said, campfire, middle of summer. Let me go back in just to make sure. Yeah, it's kind of got this sense of, tastes like s'mores in a way. I think what helps out is the mouthfeel is sort of oily, a little bit chewy, so you get sort of that marshmallow type of taste going on, especially with the vanilla to support that. But overall, I mean, I just love it. I tend to always have a bottle on hand. It was bottled in 2013. I don't think I got this until early 2014. So it's not like I'm, knocking a glass back every night. I tend to use it for more special occasions. But you can do whatever you want. And I think it's really enjoyable. So let's go in for a score. I haven't written out already, so let's go with one right now. So I'm going to give it a straight talk whiskey score of 95 because I think it's great whiskey, and I think that's a good score for it. Next week, now in the middle of the week, we won't have any more of the liqueur review. That's over with. We did the Tennessee Honey and Tennessee Fire, if you want to check back at those. But what we're going to get into next week is Jack Daniel's exploration into changing up the mash bill a little bit, putting more rye into that mixture, at least 51%, so that it is the predominant grain in this whiskey. So we'll try the unaged version next week, and then the following week we will have our last mini-series on Jack Daniel's review with the rested rye. So it'll be nice, again, like I said before, with the 3 standard bottles of Jack, not standard, but the Black Label, Gentleman Jack, and Single Barrel. You've got that progression. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the rye whiskey is progressing. So, until then, drink responsibly. As always, take your time. Whiskey is definitely more enjoyable when you take your time. This could last me, a couple hours, just going back and sipping to it. I didn't add water this time, but if I'm just drinking it by myself, just kind of lounging around, listening to some music or something like that, I'll have a little bit of water next to me, and just a couple drops. Like, we're literally talking in terms of drops, not like big spoonfuls or anything like that. Take it slow, let it all evolve. The flavors are there. With the higher ABV, there is some flavors in there that might be locked down by the alcohols that are in there. So toning it down just a little bit is going to help out a lot. It's not going to hinder it. I definitely want to add ice to this. I want to add ice to any other whiskey, but if you want to If you want to chill it down by some means, hey, that's your own prerogative. But I like it at room temperature with a little bit of cool, not cold, water. Just a little bit here and there. Like I said, build it up. Take your time. For Straight Talk Whiskey, I'm Nick. This has been episode 17, and I hope to see you next week. Have a good one.